Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at?
I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem?
Complete, absolute incompetence.
Like, who funds the news? It's a freaking inside job, man. The entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Touched Me Tuesdays, where we talk about the things that touched me this week, and hopefully they touch you too. Carson, back in the studio with John. Folks, a couple of things before we get going. First things first, give the stream a like, drop us a follow on the social media. We're at the Veritas Road, literally everywhere. We're super easy to find, or the Veritas Road Pod on Twitter. Our old account got just RoboCop blew it up. Elon Musk blew our old Twitter account up. So go give us a follow over there. Show us a little love over on the Twitter. If you like the show, you want to support the show, go check out the Patreon, guys. A bunch of fun tiers there, from our $3 theorist tier all the way up to our bedtime tier, where we will think about you at bedtime. And I mean that. I mean that and everything it entails. I don't know what all that means when I say everything it entails, but I mean that and everything it entails. So go check out the Patreon. You can get in where you fit in there. Last things last, I guess last but not least, most important thing, I guess, we'll be going live with Tim, hopefully I remember his last name, Constantine, I believe, from Sixth Sensory Pod this Friday. I've forgotten the date. This Friday,
April 3rd.
April 3rd at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is the only time that matters. We've had that argument a lot on the show. It is the only time that matters, Central Standard Time. So be sure to tune in this coming Friday, April 3rd, because that's going to be a phenomenal conversation. Tim knows a lot of shit, and we're going to ask him about a lot of shit, so it'll be a good time. So be sure to tune in then. So, people, it was another exciting week out there in the wild, out there just living my best life, going to a corporate job and getting inundated with all of the shit that's on social media and flooding the news cycle. And let me, this week was generous to us here in the United States. Because, guys, America used to be, a great country. We used to be a country where 57-year-old men retired and continued to domestically abuse their families from home. It used to be a country where senators would get sloppily drunk and talk about their deeds in public. It used to be a country where we went to the moon. And guys, allegedly, we're going back again. Project Artemis. Is it Project Artemis? Operation Artemis is set to launch. I think it's tomorrow. So Operation Artemis, Artemis 2, Artemis 4, whatever the hell this is allegedly set to launch. I feel like this went from 0 to 100 so fast. Nobody had any clue this was going on, like 6 weeks ago, and now it's all anybody can talk about. It's all over the news. We're not even going to the moon, okay? They're allegedly gonna go fly around the moon. They're not gonna go to it. They're gonna go fly around it and come back, and it's gonna take 10 days. It's gonna take 10 days for them to get to the moon, and then come back. All this Elon Musk sending rockets up into the sky and catching them, and they're going to take some nonsense NASA alleged thing up. This is like if your kids were really excited about going to Disneyland, and instead you took the time to drive all the way to Florida from like Ohio, and then we're like, guys, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna drive around. We're gonna drive around Orlando. Are you excited? Are you excited? Are you pumped? Are you pumped? But here's what's even more exciting. Scroll up for me, John, towards the top of this video. Go the scroll down to the article there. A little bit more, and stop. So we're not only going to the moon, we're sending 4 astronauts that represent so much growth in the direction we're taking as a country, as a nation, and as a world. We're sending, and we're very proud of this. Apparently, we're sending a team of astronauts that reflect, and this is a direct quote from the article, reflect more of society with, and this is, I think, my favorite part of this article, a woman, a person of color, and a Canadian. we're, we're talking about people with minorities and disabilities, okay? A woman, a person of color, and a Canadian. They lump those together. I don't know which of those is worse. I would argue the Canadian, but the fact that they're essentially coming out and saying, because I think we're all aware when people in the legacy media come out and they're like, you know, we're representing more of society with marginalized populations, they mean a couple of things. Either this person's or this person's a fact. And in this case, they could be both. But what they're essentially saying is we're sending 3 people up, 3 people who are representative of populations, a woman, a person of color, and just ask Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom thinks everybody's This is what the media thinks of these people. These aren't my words, okay? These are Associated Press's words. I don't think anybody's except for people. Yeah, these are Associated Press's words. I just love the fact that their idea of marginalized, put upon populations are women, black people, and Canadians. Not even a black Canadian, just a regular white Canadian. And then, of course, like, obviously, we talk about a lot of conspiracies on this show, okay? And there's the obvious, like, are they really going around the moon angle? And I don't want to spend too much, because we discussed that to death. But guys, just watch the broadcast. Take a look, take a listen, see how real this really looks. After all this discussion over the past 40 years of, oh, we can't go to the moon, we've lost the technology, and it's a painful process to bring it back. Oh, we can't send video footage back from the moon because can't get past the Van Allen. All of it. That, mark my words, it'll be a whole different story when these sons of bitches are up there. Either that or we'll have another Challenger moment, but that's a different discussion. The big thing about this, though, that just seems odd to me is how, and chime in on this here in a second, John, is maybe my head has been buried too deep in the sand, because aside from doing this show on the weekly, I really don't pay that much attention to the news media, but it seems like this whole operation went from 0 to 100 in the span of like a second. Like 6 weeks ago, I remember hearing about this back in like 2020, but 6 weeks ago I hadn't heard about this in forever, and suddenly we're gonna go take a trip around the moon tomorrow. Like, this just hit the news cycle, like majorly hit the news cycle like a week and a half ago tops. This went from 0 to 100 so fast. It's strange how quickly this appeared, because typically with all the like build up towards going to the moon, all the attention to like SpaceX and Blue or whatever Bezos's company is, like, typically there's all this pomp, there's all this circumstance, there's a month-long media circus. This was like 3 people were like, yeah, we're going. And then that was it. And now it hit the news media like a week and a half ago, and now we're going to the moon, I guess. We're going around the moon. It just seems like this exploded all of a sudden. John, you have the same feeling about this?
Kind of. I read somewhere that this kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and it just I kind of, yeah, it does seem like it's kind of come out of nowhere. It's interesting that it, very obviously is on April 1st, so April Fool's Day, little revelation of the method there. But yeah, it is weird that it's just kind of completely like no one cares.
No, nobody gives a shit. And even past that, like, they used to make sure they made people care, like all this coverage, like they can do that. All this coverage of Iran, all the coverage, like they can make people care. They're just not. They're just not. I still remember, I think this was back in like 2021, maybe. I was in a trailer in rural Jackson, Tennessee, trying to rent a storage unit for 3 days because the world was shut down and I had to move my shit from Memphis to Jackson. And this lady, all she did was sit in this trailer working for this storage company all day watching SpaceX live feeds. That was her entire life. There are people who will latch onto this shit if they put it out there in the media, if they push it, if they spin it right, but they just haven't this time, and it makes it seem a little strange. It makes it seem a little odd. Maybe they don't want that much. Maybe they don't want that many people paying attention. Maybe they're tired of the entire truth community poking holes in all the bull. Maybe we're reaching a point where they just don't want to play that game anymore. We're ramping up the disclosure discussion. We've got the Disclosure Day movie coming. We got J.D. Vance over here saying he thinks aliens are demons. We got the Bledsoes talking about whatever the hell with the divine feminine. Like, there's way more interesting now than going to the moon. Maybe they've just realized that people are interested in stuff that actually matters, that actually has like value, that actually has bearing on their life. Maybe they've just come to the realization, oh my gosh, these aren't paying attention anymore, and decided to stop pushing this in the media so hard. Because who even from the perspective of like a boomer, somebody who grew up in the golden age of the space race, what advantage is there in what are we gaining by trying to go to the moon? I'll wait. What the are we gain? A couple of explosions? Right? Couple of ships blow up. That's nice. I get. Like, what are we gaining by trying to do that? It just doesn't make any rational sense. Not even trying to have the flat earth debate right now. Just saying, what are we getting out of this shit? Nothing. It's an attention grab at best. And now they're not even trying to grab people's attention. So what the hell's going on behind this? Wish I had a answer, but I don't. So we're going to move on. Speaking of DEI, guys, have you ever been high as a kite and watch some Harry Potter? Because now you can do that and be a social justice warrior at the same time. And I think that's good. Everybody's been pissed about the Black Snape. I mean, this has gotten more attention than the Artemis 2 exploration, okay? People are more worried about HBO casting some African as Snape than they are going to the moon. This is where we're at in society. This guy is more important than Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. He has more of an influence on society than any of those sons of bitches pretending to go to the moon. More people are talking about this than this stupid Blue Origin. No, not Blue Origin. That's the shaped rockets. This Artemis 2 more people are worried about HBO casting a black man as Snape. And I'm kind of with him. Why are we doing that? John sent me a video of some people literally quoting the book, talking about Snape being this like sallow, super pasty looking guy. And honestly, this is just to grab attention. No, nobody thinks it makes sense to cast a black guy as Snape. They're doing it for people's, and that's fine. It's fine. Just we can all move the hell on. But I just want to just recognize how ridiculous it is that we've gone from the 1960s, Nixon, we're going to the moon, or whoever said that, was that Gerald Ford? I don't even fucking know. Whoever said we're going to the moon, not because it's easy, but because it is hard. We've gone from that to millennials looking at that and saying, I don't give a shit. Cast a black man as Snape. Those, like, how did we get there? How did we get there? To the point where instead of, standing up and like all these and what are they? These the people, everybody, the boomer who stand up for the national anthem, hands on their hearts, rock solid, staring at a bald eagle. We've gone from that to millennials getting their chopped off and complaining about Black Snape. The level of just nihilism, hedonism, all the isms is higher now than it ever has been. And honestly, I feel like in large part it makes sense. In large part, it makes so much sense because this, for a lot of these people, is the best use of their energy. What else are they going to do? They're going to go work their corporate job? They're going to scream at some on the highway? They're going to go watch Real Housewives? Like, this is a better use of these people's time than 99% of the things they prefer to be doing with themselves. That's the sad part. That is how far down this late-stage capitalism conspiracy rabbit hole we've gone. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun hearing some of the comments about this guy. It's kind of entertaining. But what it represents is a world where your children aren't going to be able to drive a car more than 50 miles outside of a city because these sons of bitches who are all worried about Black Snape this, Black Snape that, DEI this, DEI that, are the same who are so addicted to HBO, Netflix, air conditioning, and electric vibrators that they're not going to be able to walk away from that long enough. They're not going to be able to be uncomfortable long enough to resist whatever shit's coming down the pipe next. And I don't even want to be the person that says it's all going to come out of this Iran business, because I feel like that's fear mongering, and that's absolutely, even if this isn't coming out of that, which I pray to God it's not, even if this isn't coming from whatever next lockdown, whatever next, even if it's not coming from the Iran stuff, I feel like these people who are so obsessed with it, who are so focused on like a potential energy crisis and like, they're going to manifest it one way or another merely by focusing all their time and energy on that, focusing all the fear energy on that. And these are the same who are obsessed with Black Snape. These are the same sons of bitches who are obsessed with this shit. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. Anyway. John, any thoughts on Black Snape before we move on?
I mean, not a ton. Everyone's seen the memes. You do make a good point, though. And, I kind of try to hammer this home to a lot of right-wingers. It's like they don't understand how they get played, right? They don't understand that, this is designed for them to like react to. It's designed to like, especially all like a lot of like the left wing DEI that gets pushed out there. It's designed to kind of get your reaction, get you angry, so that you just completely ignore everything else that's going on in the world, and you just kind of like go along with the shifts that come in behind you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something to pay attention to. It's like, hey, this bullshit's there, like it's there for you. Right, it's bait. It's like it's bait that they want you to bite on.
Dude, some absolutely thought that when they were casting this guy, and that's fine. That's fine. Why are people getting so up in arms about it? Speaking of all this DEI, be it with NASA or this guy, one of the things I hear all the time is like so many people would have to be in on it. Like so many people would have to be in on faking a trip to the moon. So many people would have to be in on all these conspiracies. It's just not possible, man. Like so many. If you sit down and really think about the level of compartmentalization that exists in your job, in your government, just in your world in general, it's so easy to simply order people around. They'll do their own little bits and pieces of whatever task they need to carry out, and nobody's any the wiser except the people at the top. That's just a fact. It's just the way things operate.
Yeah,
and all of these people who constantly say, like, oh, it's not possible, you can't do it, you can't fit. So many people would have to be. It's not that hard, folks. It's really not. It's really not. How all of us people, okay, how hard was it for you to keep the Santa secret from your kids? Like, mom and dad can keep that secret from you. You think a bunch of Nephilim demon spawn can't keep space secret? All the space ladders secret from the popular. You really? That's and I feel like the same thing is true. We're about to look at this logo for the what is this? Like the New World's Fair? No, it's the 250th anniversary celebration. With there's a lot of weird go ahead and play this, John. We can even potentially mute it. There's a lot of weird in this logo. Okay? And so let's listen in for a quick second, because I don't know how well I can see this.
We have all kinds of war stuff. There's like 4 quadrants to this. Someone did a whole breakdown. But look at what happens when you do this. So here's the image. And now let's mirror the image. And what do we get? The Masonic compass. And you may be thinking, well, this is a stretch because like you don't need to mirror stuff, but the mirroring represents the duality that these guys and these organizations, they do, like the as above, so below thing. So this is part of the symbolism they're hiding in plain sight. Who's really pulling the strings here? We also have AI humanoid robots. We have those things. Voting booths, as if that does anything. And there's a whole bunch of symbolism in here. There's also a ton of pharmaceuticals, and there's also, what is that, like birth control or something? And missiles. I mean, what does this tell you that they think the world ahead is going to be? Also, I will say, it does look like Trump is slipping. So I wonder what that means. Oh, and look at this. Controller connected to a brain. Is this mind control? Okay, so look at this, right? We got the world ahead.
A bunch of people are going to say, look, which shout out to Neff Hunter for sending us this video. A bunch of people are gonna say, like, oh, that is just some son of a bitch sitting in a room trying to come up with good artwork for the 250th celebration of America. And you know what? I think you're right. I honestly think you're correct. I think there are a bunch of dweeb art majors, right, who can't see past their own in a room, who got paid to finally do the thing they went to school to do, okay? And they're excited because they got an opportunity. They only had to suck 2 or 3 of their uncle's dick to get there, and they're very proud of themselves because mom pats them on the back and gives them a slap on the ass when they come home, and it feels good. Dad finally said he was proud of me last week, and it feels good! But here's the thing, all right? It doesn't take much ordering around to get these sons of bitches to do exactly what you need them to do. And again, folks are none the wiser, okay? You're telling me that weird Masonic screw and compass in there was just a mistake? It just so happens that when you line those up, when you line the mirror image of one photo up to another, it just so happens to look like a square and compass, excuse me. No, that's just not the way that works. It's just not. And when you introduce the concept of like as above, so below, a lot of the inversion, a lot of the duality, it's really big in the occult. It makes a lot of sense that that's the way a lot of their symbolism functions. It just does. It just makes sense. And then we add in all the weird symbol that's in that. Pharmaceuticals everywhere. Syringes. We got a giant shaped rocket in the background. I think there are aliens. We got a brain linked to a that's past the point of like plausible deniability for thinking it's too weird to not be problematic, okay? We're past that point. We're so far past that point. And so many people are going to look at this and think, oh, it's nice. It's nice art. And it is. But what's behind the art? John, any thoughts?
Yeah, dude, the compartmentalization thing is crazy because it's like I think you can go pretty high of people who have no clue of what's going on, especially when you think about, like, I was thinking about this prepping for the show, like the astronauts who are allegedly going to the moon. You know?
Think they know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the question. Do they know? Because it's like you think about like the capabilities with like virtual reality. God, I sound like death.
You do.
You think about like the capabilities of like virtual reality, what's out on the consumer market. We obviously know the that they can pull off that we aren't privy to is much greater than that. It's like, dude, even like if you go to like even like that high up, they may not even know. Especially, you know, because I talked about on our stream with Stacks, it's like what's orchestrating all of this is not men, right? It is something that is like supernatural and outside of our natural realm, and the capabilities and the technologies that they have is stuff that we don't understand. So it's like, yeah, that like too many people have to be in on an argument just falls so flat on its face, even if it was men. But right, you go to the supernatural element, it's like it just doesn't hold water, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if it is people, like it just doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? And it does seem. I mean, whether these people, these alleged astronauts, are aware of it or not, I do wonder
Yeah.
if they are, because that would be a tough one to pull off. You either need actors, right, or I mean that would be quite the orchestrated effort. Now, some of them obviously have been, like Buzz Aldrin. That's a weird son, man.
I mean, yeah,
That's a weird son. Which one was he? The one that like punched out a reporter?
yeah. I think he was also the one who had kind of a Freudian slip, who, you know, said that they had never went. I think it was he is weird, but like you have to ask, it's like, hey, is that just some type of MK Ultra programming breaking down to where it's like these people have been just so like programmed and conditioned, right, to just believe in some delusion that was inserted into their brain that they've done this thing or what? Like, you don't know. And like I've just been thinking about that a lot. It's like, dude, do they even understand?
I mean, I would imagine some of those guys from back in the day are probably aware. They're probably just fucking actors, like Buzz Aldrin.
Maybe.
And I think based on what little I've seen of it, like an MK Ultra breakdown's a little weirder than that. Like,
I mean, sure.
It's not some guy getting pissed and trying to punch a dweeby cameraman in the like. It's a little bit different than that. And so, but I mean, yeah, you have to wonder what they're doing with these people or to these people, and if they're aware. I mean, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? And speaking of these people who are high up in government, okay, there are a lot of weird people doing weird things. We've got the Bushes blowing up towers. All right, we've got Obama sucking on his chef's. All right. We've got the Clintons running a giant sex trafficking organization, murdering a bunch of people. Guys, guess who's finally getting in on the game? They finally accepted friend of the show Jill Biden into the fold. Allegedly, Jill Biden's Secret Service detail, this guy accidentally shot himself in the leg. Now get this story, okay? Her Secret Service agent accidentally shot himself in the leg in Philadelphia International Airport. 8:30. That's an 11, by the way, John. He suffered a non-life-threatening injury following a negligent discharge. Negligent discharge is also how you end up with an accidental child, but that's a different discussion. While handling a surface weapon in Philadelphia's International Airport during a protective assignment. You're telling me a Secret Service agent, one of the top, best trained warriors in our country, assigned to protect not just the former president, but his beloved bitch of a wife, accidentally shot himself in the leg. No way. No way. And let's talk about where former First Lady Biden was headed. She was headed to an off-Broadway, go back down, John. She was headed to an off-Broadway play called Public Charge that was written and directed by her former chief of staff. These are the kinds of people who we're employing at the highest levels of government. I thought sons of bitches who were trying to get screenplays produced worked in delis in San Francisco and California. Okay, I didn't think they were the chiefs of staff for the first lady. But I'm kind of happy for her, you know, like she's gotten a lot of flack for trotting good old Sleepy Joe around whenever she wants, whenever it suits her. She's finally getting in on the game. They finally jumped her into the club. She shot some son of a bitch in the leg, and now she gets to be a part of the group, and I'm kind of excited for her. We here on the Veritas Road are very excited for her getting jumped into the Bohemian gang. We're very excited for her ascension into whatever demonic position she's headed towards, and we wish her well. We really do. We wish her well. But does anybody believe that a Secret Service agent shot himself in the leg?
Yeah, I mean, allegedly it wasn't a SIG, so no.
John, that was
Other people who pay attention will get that joke because SIG makes a handgun that much of the government use that notoriously shoots on its own accord without pulling the trigger. Secret Service doesn't use that. They use a Glock.
Oh.
This is probably Jill Biden's Dick Cheney moment, though, if I had to guess.
That would be a good guess. Just shoot somebody in the head while you're hunting, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine. We're okay with it. I do like the fact that she was headed to an off-Broadway play for her former chief of staff. What the f*** is that doing? You're telling me you had one of the highest-ranking jobs in government, allegedly, and now you're writing off-Broadway plays? And not only that, but you're getting your old boss to come watch the play?
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you ever paid attention in movies that always will have like newspaper articles or like news articles in the background. If you ever like close up on them, it's just a bunch of nonsense. Like that's what this is. That's what it's relegated to, is that like all of these background stories as this whole thing breaks down are there's those nonsensical articles that you see in like the background of a movie. Is like the former first lady's security detail shot himself in the leg while she was going to an off-Broadway show of her former chief of staff.
It's completely ridiculous. You could literally just have the headline, the photo, and replace everything else with wingdings. And this would hit just as hard. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Dude, look at her. Does she not look a little bit like a less masculine Brigitte Macron to anybody? Is that just me?
Yeah, I can see it.
You think she has a dick?
I mean,
I get that everybody's saying everybody has a dick now. I'm not one of those. I'm sorry. I'm tired of all the everybody's got a dick. I think the people who are excited about that are a little gay. I think they're a little gay. I think they like a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's also good to just be cautious when you're dealing with that class of people. I think it's probably good to just assume they have a dick and then like make them prove that
and
they
then
don't.
It's a pleasant surprise when they don't have one.
Yeah.
Did Brigitte Macron ever show her cock?
I don't know. I stopped paying attention to that.
That's too bad. Too bad. You know what? I'll show my dick right now. Anyway.
Please don't. I will cut the camera and end this.
John, don't pretend like it wouldn't be the best moment of your day. So, speaking of demons, our beloved Vice President, Mr. Jonathan David Vance. Is that what the JD stands for? I don't actually know. That's what I'm going to go with. Has finally thrown his hat into the ring regarding the disclosure discussion. And how weird is it that we're getting all of the top folks to weigh in on this these days? We got Trump going on Rogan talking about how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure all of the people get the files. I'm going to make sure everybody knows everything I know about the aliens. We've got Obama talking about, there are aliens. My fellow Americans, there are aliens in Area 51. Or they're not kept in Area 50. I can't remember what the fuck he said. But we've got all of our presidents and vice presidents weighing, except, the ones that can still talk. I'm not sure what Biden's doing. But we have everybody weighing in on the disclosure discussion. And J.D. Vance has thrown his hat into the ring in a little bit of an odd way. I'm sure folks have seen this, but we'll play it again.
Funny, when I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files, and then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I'm still
Okay, I have to pause it real quick.
What?
How of a statement is that?
Yes. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
I've got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
Have I what?
Have you done a peek? I mean, like,
So I actually
lost some weight.
Independence Day.
I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it, but I am going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Some
Not
people
yet.
say they keep the UFOs in Ohio. They might,
Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right?
I've
I've heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay, all right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.
You know me.
We saw
You know me.
aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that, because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, "Yeah, aliens are real, but like, here's where they're not." And
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens are,
one.
he gets asked point blank, are aliens real? Said, oh, yeah. And then he goes, but they're not at Area 51. And
well, where are they, bro?
Well, that's what he says. Okay. Right. There's a great question. Trump had to go save him, and he said he's going to declassify. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people he never existed.
So go ahead and rewind this to the beginning, John. From the top. I don't know that I have ever heard a more politician answer than what Mr. Jonathan David gives us right here. Okay? Have you looked into the UFO files? Fake laugh. Well, it's like when you ask your mom if she's had time to like get you your allowance yet, or if dad comes home and he's like, when you got time to blow me. Well, I've just been too busy dealing with all the bills and keeping track of all the neighbors and stuff. I haven't had time to look into it, sweetie. I just haven't. You just get so busy as a sexless housewife. I'm just too busy. You. All right? That is just a classic politician way out type of answer. I'm more interested in it than anybody. Don't even worry. I'm more interested in it than you are, you son. I'm more interested in it than any. I will definitely look into it whenever I get it. Hey, Mom, can I have a bike? I'm more interested in getting you a bike than anybody. I'll look into it. Off. It is the most politician answer I think I've heard out of him yet. Like it's such a clear, obvious nugget of. And fast forward just a second, John. Let's hear this well-crafted political laugh. Wait till it. Oh yeah, there. Oh, go back a look. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, go back again. Another like 4 seconds. Tell me tell me that's real. Tell me that's real. And how about the fact that this is on the same podcast that Barack Obama, whose name I thought was Bayrak until like 4 years ago, Barack Obama came out and said there were aliens on, allegedly by accident. Okay, allegedly by accident.
The same podcast.
Yes, it is.
He was not being interviewed by Benny Johnson.
I'm pretty. Look, listen. The guy says it was on his show.
He said it was on. I guarantee you, it was not Benny Johnson.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, whatever. Anyway, how ironic is it that we have the former president within a span of a couple of weeks, really, month or two tops, saying like, "Oh yeah, there are aliens in America. We've got them. They're not in Area 51, but we do have like." And then we have J.D. Vance back at it again amidst all this disclosure. Is it not weird to anybody else? And then he takes it a step further, because this is the first we've heard of this kind of thing from the powers that be. He takes it a step further and says, no. I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons. Now, that's been a big area of discussion in case you guys have had your heads up your ass. That's been a big area of discussion in the truth world as of late. Excuse me. And lo and behold, J.D. Vance comes out and has something to say about it. A man of faith, a Catholic who probably likes to kids. That's in keeping with being Catholic, so good for him. He's doing a good job. But it just seems a little weird that all of this comes out in the alternative media over the past, let's say, 3 to 6 months about like what are aliens or aliens demons, what's going on with like interdimensional being, like what is all this and we have a lot of people like hitting that aliens or demons train hard, and then suddenly J.D. Vance comes out and's like, yeah, I think aliens are actually demons, and it's just odd. Any kind of celestial being, how people jump to alien. I think it could be something else. If you're a person of faith, then you have to wonder, what it might be. Could it be a demon? I don't know. I don't know why that's my impression of J.D. Vance. John, any thoughts on Mr. Jonathan David's very clearly candid answer to this question?
We're getting really close to all of this coming out. This is, I think, pretty indicative of that. If we're getting pretty close to some very honest revelation of the method, I think we're getting close to them dropping the shoe on all of this.
Dude, I keep thinking that, but they keep edging us, man. Like, they keep edging the populace about this. Are we going to blow a load or are we not? Like, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because shit like this keeps coming out. And it's not the first time this has happened. That's the thing, man. This same playbook ran back in the 60s with Roswell. Right? In the 80s with Bob Lazar. It's running again now, and I would like I'm the first to say like it again. It seems like they kind of turned the dial up to 11 on this, but it's not like this hasn't happened before.
I mean,
and again, I didn't live through any of that, so I don't have anything to compare it to. Based on what little I do know, it does seem to me to be fundamentally different. But who the knows? Who the knows? You know?
I mean, yeah, my thing here is, I think this is the first time we've, especially from like a prominent political government, like he's the vice president, classifying these things in like the spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
Like that hasn't happened, right? And if you're starting to think about, hey, what is this disclosure UFO deception gonna be? Obviously, from my perspective, I think probably from most people's in this space perspective, it's like it's gonna be it's spiritual in nature. So the fact that you like have that now starting to come from obviously the people who are gonna be like perpetrating it,
Yeah.
I think we're getting close.
Well, it's also kind of weird the way that, at least for me, it seems like Vance is a really good tool for capturing the attention of the more religious people on the far right, like people who maybe have heard a little bit about this in the media and are a little bit lost, a little bit listless, wondering what the hell's going on. They're starting to have questions. Guess who we can have swoop in and really just take the lead on this whole thing and tell you what, none other than young Jonathan David Vance, a former American soldier who's now the vice president of the United States, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, young, strapping who's ready to tell you what to believe. Like, I can't think of a better option.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. It actually might be useful to spend 40 minutes with JD Vance and ask him what a demon is. 'Cause, a lot of the people, a lot of the people who you're talking about who would be capturing, who he would be capturing their attention, probably have no real understanding of like, well, what is a demon? What does this mean to say that these things are demons? Right. That's a really good point because he's like, he can kind of, it's a little bit of like, capturing kind of like that lower IQ populace and just get into like kind of fall into a narrative that they don't actually understand.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit easier to manipulate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a great kind of appeal to authority figure in that way.
No, he's perfect for it. Absolutely perfect. A young, strapping man, the son, a son of America. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's the son of America, and he's ready to save you. And God bless him. God bless America. God bless the flag and the Twin Towers. Hell yeah. I wish this was a can of beer. That'd be perfect. I'm crushing a Budweiser right now. Kidding me? Be great. So speaking of demons, Larry Ellison has come out with some interesting thoughts about what he thinks the future is gonna look like. And here we're talking not just about a big name CEO, not just about a rich Jewish, not just about a rich demonic Jewish. We're talking about a rich demonic Jewish who is head of one of the largest AI companies in the world. One of the largest AI and security companies in the world. Yep, it was that first one you clicked on, John.
Okay.
He came out and shared the following about the future of security.
Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison predicts AI surveillance will be part of our everyday lives in the future. Ellison said AI will soon play a major role in monitoring society through a vast network of interconnected cameras.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
Every adult will need a new government-issued digital ID.
A digital ID.
Having all of your personal information stored in one place.
We will spare no effort to make Europe an AI continent.
To integrate you into this great reset.
So how soon could central bank digital currencies become a reality?
We should be helping countries to develop a national digital infrastructure.
Imagine every purchase you make, every app you use, every place you visit, all contributing to a single digital profile, a personal digital identity. This way, many details of your life could be stored in a unified digital record.
Okay.
That profile might eventually...
And we're starting to see, go on to the next video or next news article, I can't remember which. We're starting to see bits and pieces of this wade into regular people's society. And we're starting to see maybe them leak a news article here, a news article there. Maybe it's about it going wrong. Maybe it's to warn people. Maybe it's to get folks' consent. I don't know what the it's for, but this is where it's headed, okay? And what's that presidential quote? Like the whole idea of like people who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither. All right, a couple of things about that. We're going to take a quick commercial break here while I for a second. There are a lot of who are like, I don't even know if Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Jefferson, whoever the hell was a real person. I don't even know if that's because okay. Nuggets of truth are nuggets of truth. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. All the cliches. Fact of the matter is, the way a lot of this is going to be couched is in terms of making people more comfortable, making people more safe, giving you more of your time back, making things work for you better so that we reach a point where all of us are starting to beg for this. And what it's going to lead to, okay, is a way more convenient version of what's happening right here. So this lady, who was, I guess, a Tennessee resident, was accused of crimes she allegedly never committed as a result of police in Fargo, North Dakota, running her through some kind of AI face recognition software. It's 1,000 miles, over 1,000 miles away. She's getting accused of crimes while she's in Tennessee. Now, that's weird, inconvenient, kind of silly, honestly. Some lady super far away who's probably on drugs in the middle of a field in Tennessee. Let's be fair. Did you see her photo? But some lady who's super far away got accused of a crazy crime. Silly AI. But how long is it before we start to digress, regress, I don't know, before we start to move into this weird McCarthyist era of using AI to put away people we don't want around anymore, as we start to move towards the whole idea of microaggressions, of thought crimes, of hate speech. It's going to be real easy to generate an AI video of you doing or saying whatever the hell we want you to do or say. Not only that, but it's going to be real easy to find somebody who looks just the hell like you somewhere else and say that was you. Like, this shit is so simple. But it's happening constantly. It's happening constantly. All right? What is this we just got sent? Christy Nome, devastated by report of husband Brian's double life dressing as a woman? I don't know what this has to do with AI, but let's look into it. Is this son of a bitch dressing up as a lady? What is he? What is his position?
Christy Nome was
or her position, sorry.
He was she was his like director of Homeland Security, I think.
And her husband, I mean, everybody, who amongst us in 2026 hasn't, hasn't dressed up in drag? Who hasn't? I feel like everybody's doing it. It's the cool thing to do, All these wieners are getting dressed up and going out to drag breakfasts. That's a thing in Nashville now. Drag breakfasts. This guy's probably a regular at those. Why is it always these manly looking who do it too? Like, at least find a more feminine looking man to dress up as a bitch. She's kind of hot. Probably got a lot of Botox, but she's kind of hot. That's hilarious. Do we have a photo of him in a dress?
No, not in this article.
Oh, damn it. That would have been gold. Anyway, back to AI. We're reaching a point where with all of this movement we're seeing towards thought crimes, hate speech, microaggressions, all the things that are coming out of big name universities in Europe, okay? All the like that is starting to make its way into American culture, and we're going to start, if we don't actively either ignore or push back against this, you're going to see more stuff like this. More people getting accused of crimes they didn't commit. More people seeing weird videos about themselves out on the internet talking about the Jays. People getting framed for X, Y, or Z. It feels like we're moving back towards the McCarthyist era of like, hey, I heard, John, I heard that you were next door to a communist meeting last night. You a commie? And then we run a kangaroo court, arrest you, and you're gone for good. Like, it feels like we're already halfway there. We already have the AI. We already have the concepts we're going to use to put people. They're already doing this in Europe. They're already doing this in Australia. And I'm not saying it's coming. I'm not saying it's inevitable. I am saying, like, either ignore it or push back against it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. John, any thoughts about thought crimes?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Somebody mentioned in the comments, it's like there's so many antichrists out there, I don't know which one to pick. And it's like I kind of get that like mindset here. It's like, you can take the whole AI, you could take the AI thing in so many different directions to where you could, build some type of like dystopian society like you were talking about. Whereas like you can also like use it to like, cause all of this kind of distress and destabilization in society so that some other solution comes down the pipe to like clean it up. It's just, in any way, it's just massively, massively dangerous. And I don't know, it's just hard to kind of track, how the shoe's going to drop,
Yeah, well, so much of it does seem to be targeted towards just moving mass consciousness in the direction we want. I was literally talking about this with my boss yesterday, and I know we've kind of beaten this dead horse on the show, but like with AI reaching the point that it is, with people glued to their phones the way they are, and social media as addictive as it is, okay? Those three things, kind of a trifecta. You have everything you need to push society whatever direction you want it to go. Literally everything you need. People are already addicted to social media. They're already on their phones constantly, nonstop. All right? I feel like social media is reaching a point where it's probably more addictive than some of these drugs we were warned about as kids. All right? Forget fentanyl. Facebook's the new problem. But with that comes access. Comes access to your mind, comes access to your spirit, essentially. Like all of the things you're seeing and taking in constantly throughout the day. With these algorithms running the way they do, and AI kind of leading the charge towards programming people, you have this ability to show people whatever you need to show them to either radicalize them, to calm them down, to make them afraid of this, to make them concerned about that, to make them not give a shit about this, to make them believe that. And Isaac Asimov wrote about it. I know I've talked about this too much on this show, but like Isaac Asimov wrote about it back in like the early 1900s. This whole idea of like people are way more predictable en masse. If you can affect the mass populace, you can pretty much push society however you want it to go. And we now have the ability to do that. We carry around these black boxes with us constantly, staring into them 24/7. That algorithm can show you anything it wants to. A lot of that is full of like almost like weird MK Ultra-esque micro traumas. I mean, we've got 15-year-olds walking around with phones, looking at people's heads get shot off, allegedly in Ukraine. Who knows if that's a real video? Might be AI. No matter what, though, it's traumatizing that kid, and guess who's a lot more susceptible to mind control at that point? We're talking about like low-level CIA declassified. Like, this isn't even wild. It's just applying principles we already know to be true to the way people's phone algorithms work. It's just a rule of nature at this point. And so I feel like we're seeing more and more of that. It's getting more and more obvious as time goes on. And so this AI is getting to a point where I'm not even sure what to think anymore. We'll hit that at the end, James.
Sorry.
We're not even like, it's impossible to know where we're headed anymore, or if you're going to be able to even leave your house and do regular life. That poor lady. Speaking of AI, one last thing before we get on to the dessert of the show, as it were. If anybody didn't feel like we were barreling headfirst towards some kind of creepy dystopian future with a robot on every corner, I guess we're there now. This is one of those things with these. Are these robots? Are these still the Tesla robots that they're carting out in front of people? Who the fuck's making these? But these like humanoid robots that they're carting out at every opportunity are straight out of science fiction. They're straight out of RoboCop. They're straight out of iRobot. They're straight out of Westworld. Like, these things are straight out of science fiction. And I feel like people aren't as weirded out by them as they should be. Like, people are plenty weirded out by them and like, oh, those are terrifying. I don't feel like I feel like somebody should be shooting that right now. Like, we should be out hunting these sons of right now. Who knows what they're going to turn into? But we have a charming one here walking with former model First Lady Melania Trump. Who I will say walks better than the robot. I guess she did used to be a former model, so that tracks. Skip ahead. This son of a bitch gives a talk.
Oh, I'm going to have to turn the audio on.
A little bit more. There's Brigitte Macron is at this meeting, by the way.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House. It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inaugural meeting. I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America. I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Yokoso.
Thank you.
Bienvenue.
You're welcome.
Bem-vindos. Ahlan wa sahlan.
See you too.
Mogesal mabit. Bruchim habaim. Laskavo prosimo. Dobrodoshli. Thank you.
Pretty sure those last like 5 were fake. I don't think those were real. That sounds like some bullshit. So I listened to a little bit more of that thing. I think that thing talked more later on. It was audio. I didn't watch a damn video on it, but allegedly those things exist to educate people. Part of the plan is to, like, I don't know if it's to put them in people's homes or in schools to help educate children. Now, I took a lot of flack for saying, do you really want AI teaching your 14-year-old to use anal beads at the kitchen table a couple of months ago? But folks, how far away are we from some AI robot like beating the shit out of your kid because they didn't listen right during history class? How far away are we of having a damn robot literally coming to your house to making sure you're educating your kids correctly? How far away are we from this weird dystopian future that has seemed for so long like it's a piece of science fiction, like it's something in the pages of a book, like it's something that's just in a movie you were watching? It seems like it's starting to leap off the pages of the screen. And that, for me, is one of the things that makes me the most nervous. And maybe this is the way our grandparents felt when they came out with the engine, you know? Maybe this is just regular, you know, human life and technology moving forward the way it always does. But it seems to me like we've hit, I don't know, a rate of progression, a fever pitch, if you will, pushing these things forward with AI, with the alien disclosure, with these robots, with drones, with these wars. They're reaching this fever pitch that seems so similar to all these dystopian movies we were raised on as kids, all these things that we've been taught our entire lives to fear and be concerned about. Now is that the propaganda, right? Have we just been propagandized, taught to be afraid of these things, to be uncomfortable with these things for some reason? Or is it simply a natural concern about whatever the fuck's coming down the pipe next? And I don't know. It makes me wildly uncomfortable. But I don't know. I don't know where this shit's headed. And I think people who pretend to are full of shit. But that's another discussion. John, any thoughts before we roll on to the dessert of the evening?
Yeah, the science fiction thing's interesting because, you know, I think it's kind of been a really good propaganda tool for this situation, because if you look at like the alien disclosure narrative, pretty much like all of the facts that even like a lot of people who take like official, like, you know, authority in the alien disclosure space, it's pretty much drawn from like how we depict aliens in science fiction. It's not based in any form of like actual reality,
alleged reality, at least.
And then you get over here and it's almost like it's created, you know, on the AI fronts, created like this weird disassociation for people, you know, is that they can just view all of this as like, hey, this isn't, you know, this is in some type of fictional, you know, universe. This isn't in my reality, you know? And so it's like people can just kind of go and ignore, you know, like this. They can kind of ignore, you know, the first lady walking down, you know, a red carpet with a robot that can think for itself, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, they can kind of just pretend that, hey, like that's not real, but it is real. So I don't know, it's created this weird type of like propaganda for people and weird type of like conditioning, to where it's like I don't think people really know how to deal with any of this.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the reason you're seeing so much compartmentalization in people's minds, is because we don't know how to deal with it. And so one of the easiest ways to deal with it is to not. Right? To push it away, to say, oh, this isn't real. Oh, this isn't going to go anywhere. It's kind of kick the can down the road. So it's like, that's the way I deal with this a lot. Like most days, I just pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I go to my corporate job, I glaze my boss, and pretend like this shit isn't really happening.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm able to make it through the day. Nihilistic? Maybe. Does it get me from point A to point B? Hell yeah, it does. But you're right. It's even right now, it feels fake. Watching this video right now feels fake. I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't really happening.
Yeah.
But we have food robots delivering food. We got self-driving taxi cabs now.
Yeah, man. And it's all just in a manner, I think, to like get people to where they can't really like trust their own discernment, trust their own instinct, and, you know, creep in just so much self-doubt. It goes back to that comment that I can't remember who mentioned in the chat earlier. It's like there's just so many, you know, Antichrist out there. I don't know which one to pick. Right. And like that's a pretty good like operation they got going, because it does kind of make it hard to really like have your finger on the pulse of like what's going on and like how to, you know, in a way protect yourself from all of it.
Well, I mean, even beyond making it hard, people just don't want to. Like, they don't want to have to engage with it. It's too stressful. It's too uncomfortable. It's too terrifying. And so, with that being said, guys, we try to make a point to end these streams with something that's a little less uncomfortable, a little bit less terrifying. This may not fall under that heading. So, what's it? Christy Nome? Allegedly, this is her husband. The Daily Mail posted a picture of him in giant fake tits. They're very large, uncomfortably large. I don't find those aesthetically pleasing, to be honest with you. Like, if you're gonna be a drag queen and you're gonna get fake tits, right? Make them aesthetically pleasing. You're literally buying them for how they look. Do a better job. Do a better job. So, with that being said, we try to leave you guys with something that's not as uncomfortable, not as scary, not as alarming. Now, depending on how you feel about this type of discussion we're about to have, you may find it uncomfortable, scary, and alarming. But I would just like to ask folks, isn't it great that this guy rolls out of bed in the morning, hops in the shower? Isn't it great? I had some more lined up. I forgot. But let's take a look at this superhero. This dude literally has to roll out of bed in the morning. Sometimes I have a hard time rolling out of bed. He rolls out of bed immediately. This son of a bitch is ready to go. Look at that.
Where did you find that?
That's like one of those sock 'em boppers from back in the day where you punched it and it would just immediately pop back up. I like this new theme we're ending on. Yeah, shout out to Neff Hunter for sending us that video. That might be the best thing I've seen this week. That might be the best thing I've seen this week. Guys, thanks for listening tonight. It's been fun. It's been delightful. If you like the show, please drop us a like. Give us a follow wherever you're watching. We're on all the major platforms. Rumble, YouTube, all the other ones. We're also on all the audio platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Folks, if you like the show, you want to support the show, go check out the Patreon. You can get in where you fit in over there. You will get a free sticker pack when you sign up. So, I don't even know if we've sent the last ones out.
Yeah,
John,
we got to cut them.
We've got to cut them. So do our patrons. Be advised, we still have to cut we have to cut ourselves. Our stickers. And send those out. So, those will be coming. Q, I believe we owe you one. And some other people. I don't remember who.
Neff Hunter, a new one as well.
Yeah, we'll be sending Neff Hunter. We'll send you some also. So, like the show, want to support the show, go check out the Patreon. We've got some cool new shit headed that way. So, be on the lookout for that as time goes on. And guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully we touched you tonight. Oh yeah, Tim.
Come back on Friday.
Yes, we'll be live on Friday with Tim Constantine from Sixth Sensory Pod. So do check that out. That'll be a great conversation. And hopefully we touched you tonight. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.